This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV. I'm at CES 2014 in the Leap Motion private meeting room. Joining me is Avi DeBeer, Director, Developer Relations for Leap Motion. Welcome to the program, Avi.
Hey, thank you, Neil. It's great to have you guys.
The pleasure is ours. So please tell us, what is Leap Motion?
Yeah, so Leap Motion is a device. You can see it right here. It's about the size of a pack of gum. And it sells for $80 right now, the peripheral. And what it does is it allows you to motion control your Mac or PC in its current version.
So when we're talking about motion control, what are we talking about?
Yeah, so we're talking about using your hands, your fingers, motions, gestures to interact with computer screens. And what I can do is I can show you a little bit about how it works. So we do have, our product does come in a peripheral form, but it also does come in an embedded form as well, and that's what I'm using to demo right here on this HP Envy machine. So you can see right here there's a strip that's got our technology embedded in there, and what's in here, and in both the computer as well, are 2 cameras, 3 infrared LEDs, and how it works is it takes photos of your hand positions at about 200 frames per second and sends those photos to the computer, and then our proprietary software interprets those positions and then spits out an SDK that developers can create a variety of apps ranging from, games, educational applications, musical apps, whatever you can think of and would want to do with motion control. I'm going to show you guys a little bit about how it works. You can see here that these cylinders represent my fingers, and I'm moving them pretty quickly here, and it's keeping up very nicely. The circles represent my palm positions, and so what I'm going to do here is turn on this is our diagnostic tool that you're seeing here, and you can see that this yellow sort of cone represents the field of view. And again, the device is right here embedded in the HP computer. It's about 2 by 2 foot is this space that you have to work with, and you can see here our SDK is spitting out the XYZ coordinates for my fingertip positions, as well as my palm positions, as well as the speed and the direction that those points are traveling and pointing in. And this is all done in 3D space. As I rotate that cone, you can see I can reach in, move my hands all around just in this space, and it's keeping very good tracking with what I'm doing.
Okay, very good. So I know you mentioned all types of potential applications. You're of course in developer relations. Right. Can you talk about some of the software that readily works with this?
Sure, absolutely. So here is what we call Airspace Home. So if I was connected to the internet, I could show you the actual Airspace store. Let's see if that works. Unfortunately, no. But if you go to airspace.leapmotion.com, there's over 150 apps there. You'll find apps that work for the Mac, for the PC. We also have web apps there. So if you want to build things just in a browser, you're able to do that. Our SDK comes in C++, C#, Java, Python, Objective-C, JavaScript, plays really nice with Unity. So we're very sort of thankful for that platform and what they've been able to do. You can see here at Airspace Home, once I download my apps from our store, they're put into Airspace Home, and I can launch them accordingly. Here is classic. You have Fruit Ninja. Drop Chord is a very interesting game. It's made by the folks over at Double Fine, very popular indie studio. These guys are great. They're just down the street from us, so it's very easy to sort of work with them. But this is a music-based game that takes advantage. Let me see if I can show you here. That takes advantage of our motion control. So the object here is to kind of cross these circles using your fingers to move through. There's an original soundtrack here. You want to avoid those X's. So see how if I go like that, I get points taken off. The track changes, and as you progress along, you get a variety of music. This game is one of the first games we had available. They were a launch partner of ours. They've actually gone on to make additional games for the Leap Motion as well.
Very good. I was wondering, with the upgrade to Windows 8 and eventually 8.1, it's one of those operating systems on PC that's very almost dependent on the screen. It wasn't really well designed for mouse and keyboard like earlier versions. Is this a potential application to get Windows working a bit more efficiently? Do you have an application for Windows?
We do. There are a variety of applications. I want to say north of 10 in Airspace that allow you to what we call as computer control applications. So things like if you want to move to the next screen, like you map a swipe to it and it just gets to the next program. There are things like controlling mimicking your trackpad or mimicking some Windows gestures. You can map all that stuff, and it allows you to even do certain shortcuts to certain programs or certain actions, right? So we are seeing people use that. That's actually probably one of our most popular categories. Like people just want a new, more efficient way to control some actions on their computers. Now, is it an end-all be-all replacement? No. We believe that people should use the best tool for the job. In some cases, that's a keyboard. In some cases, that's the mouse. And in some cases, it's motion control, right? And we're still seeing that develop in that most of the interface is designed, like you said, for 2D mouse and keyboard. And as we see software evolve, it will get more and more towards motion control.
Very good. I heard PC, I heard Mac. Are you doing any experimentation with mobile devices as well? Is it applicable for that?
Yep, absolutely. So we've been able to, let's see if I have it available here, shrink the chip. I don't see it, but we've been able to shrink the chip down pretty significantly. So right now it's about the size of my pinky, or the chip that we've been able to shrink down, and the thickness of about 2 credit cards. And that becomes, that allows us to put it into things like phones, tablets, potentially TVs, put it in automobiles. I mean, all these use cases we're experimenting with partners. Hopefully we'd like to see something like that, especially in tablets and phones this year.
So who are your current big partners for Leap Motion?
So the partners I can talk about one is HP. We have 12 SKUs that we've done with them, this laptop being one. We also have a keyboard over there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but this is what it is at. Sorry. And so you can see right here, it's embedded directly on top of this keyboard. So that's kind of our key partner right now that we can mention. In terms of retail partners, we're in Best Buys, we're in Maplin in the UK, Fnac in France. We're about to announce a pretty big partnership with the Japanese retailer pretty shortly. And again, we're talking to a variety of OEMs. All the ones that you can probably think of we've had discussions with.
Very good. Am I correct that this portable, I don't know if you call it a portable device, but this device does everything that the embedded device does?
Correct. So here is the device. You just plug it in via USB to any Mac and PC. It does the same exact thing. The great part of this is that the hardware we've kept pretty simple, and it's really a software-driven solution. We continually make tracking updates to the SDK, and you don't need to buy new hardware. We just push that stuff from the internet down to your computer, and you have better tracking, better gestures, or whatever it is that we add in the upcoming releases.
Now, with a technology like this, I imagine latency or the lack of latency, I should say, is very important, if not critically important. Is there a specification for this as far as latency is concerned?
Totally. That's one of our key differentiators and why our technology has drawn a lot of attention to it. We're in the sub 2 to 5 millisecond latency, and it does depend on a variety of factors like lighting conditions, but we have built-in things that automatically compensate the device based on the lighting conditions to optimize for performance. One of the true tests to having a low latency product is that people are making musical applications with it, right? You can't afford latency in music. If you play that A chord or that C chord, you need to hear that in real time. And because musicians are using this to create songs for performances, we know that it sort of holds that test.
Now, I recognize that it has kind of a limited, I call it a field that you work, like maybe a box that it works with. Right. Have you played a little bit with any potential VR applications, something that could be bound to this, or is it not quite a fit for that?
It's totally a fit. We think, head-mounted displays or anything like that is a possibility down the line. But again, it's still very early. We've done some experiments with it. It's certainly fascinating and it's doable, and we can always expand the field of view. It's really just getting a different sensor, like a wider camera angle, or potentially we could even daisy chain them, right? So put two of them next to each other, and that expands the field of view. The reason the version you see here is just step one. We just want to get it to an affordable price point in the hands of both consumers and developers, so people can warm up to the idea of motion control and start building and creating and using it.
Excellent, excellent. So just to finalize here, can you? How much is it? Where can people get it?
Yep. So it retails for $80 US. You can buy it at leapmotion.com. You can get it at Best Buy. You can get it at Amazon UK, Maplin's in the UK, Fnac in France. Really a lot of places, but for sure leapmotion.com.
And as far as the software support, do you have a number of titles that you expect support this technology?
So right now we're north of 150 software applications in our App Store, and that's continually growing. Developers that are actively engaged. I think we're north of 80,000 developers who have downloaded the SDK. So very strong community, people building, sharing code. Go to developer.leapmotion.com. You can download the SDK for free. There's plenty of documentation, a lot of great stuff on the forums, and just it's fairly easy to get up and running.
Okay, excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll be back with more from CES 2014. Thank you for watching.